Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. On Fridays, we talk about the product owner role in Scrum. We talk about patterns and anti-patterns that relate to ours and the team's collaboration with the product owner. And we've also put together a course to help you navigate that relationship. There's 18 modules, nearly 8 hours of tools, techniques, videos, handouts, presentations you can use to help you and your team work better with your product owner. The course is available at bit.ly/coach-your-PO. All lowercase, all one word, that's bit.ly/coach-your-PO. And now, on to the show, the Product Owner Show. Hello everybody, welcome to our Friday TGIF episode this week with Oskar Collin. Hi Oskar, welcome back.
Hello again, thank you.
So we're talking about product owners because it's Friday. The Friday episode is the product owner episode, and we'll talk about a bad example and then a good example to end up on a high. So let's start with the bad first, Oskar. What might have been one of the worst PO anti-patterns that you've witnessed in your career?
I think I've encountered it twice, maybe, fortunately. But it's what I call, I don't know, the English translation I can find is megalomaniac. It's like a person who is basically so full of themselves that they think that the whole world centers around them. And I've encountered like 2 or 3 product owners with this kind of.
What's the Swedish word for it?
It's storhetsvansinne.
Okay. At least our few thousand Swedish listeners now know exactly what you're referring to. So how does that feel? Like as a Scrum Master or as a team member, what are the things you observe in that kind of product owner anti-pattern?
But it's like it's a person who wants to have full control of everything. I'm not talking like micromanaging. I'm talking about mega managing, not trusting people to do their job, even if it's experienced team members, or they want the control of everything. They want to write the technical requirements. They want to write the user stories exactly into detail. They want to have full control of deployments. One of these product owner actually wanted to deploy everything by himself because he didn't. I don't know if it's a lack of trust or if it's just like an addiction of controlling everything.
How does that look like in your planning meetings, though? Walk us through a conversation that these people would have with the rest of the team in a planning meeting.
So it's basically, here's what we're going to do, no questions asked. You can, this is going to be live in 3 days. And then people could say, okay, but that's not possible. I don't care. So it was a one-way communication, not a communication. It was information meetings. Here is what we have to do. And there's where the discussions ended. There were no...
But then I can imagine that, for example, in a planning meeting or even in a refinement or grooming meeting, when a team member has a question, like how does that go?
Yeah, in my experience, it didn't go because we had a situation where the PO said, okay, we need to deploy this now, this feature or whatever it was. And one of the developers said, but it's not working. It's not ready. It's not according to the definition of done, let's say. And the PO said, I don't care, just get it out. But it won't work. I don't care, get it out. I don't know if it's so hard for me to put myself into that person's shoes because I don't understand how you think in that way, because you just want to get things out, but the consequences could be devastating. I think we all know what happens if you release things that you are very uncertain of. Of course, there's when we work with feedback, of course, we need to release things often to get feedback. But here we talked about things that were really not working.
Yeah, broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the relationship of the PO and the team.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Oskar, for me, though, as a Scrum Master, the next question is, I mean, how do I handle this, right? I mean, if I find myself in this kind of situation, what have you learned in your career that works or doesn't in these situations?
What didn't work in one of the cases for me was that the team came to me and said, okay, we need to talk about this. They had never had a retrospective. So when I came in, they said to me, okay, can you help us? Can you help us discuss things? And we need to solve our problems. We need to identify our problems. So
they asked for help.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I came in. But I knew about the history of the team and the PO. So I invited the team to a retrospect, and it went really well. The PO wasn't attending, so there were a lot of problems. Of course, that was not the main issue. The main issue was the day after, when the PO got back, and he said to me, "Oskar, can you come with me?" And we sat down, and he said, "Don't you ever take my team away from me behind my back." So I was really shocked about this. So that didn't work too, because I acted on what I call instinct. A team comes to me and they ask for help. We need help to identify problems. And in hindsight, I should have invited the PO, but of course, but the team didn't seem really confident in having him at the retrospect. So we just did it, and that he took that as act of treason, basically. So that was a very weird experience. I actually never encountered a thing like that before.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, when things get too complicated, there's always the chain of command, and managers are there to help solve certain problems. But one of the things that I really highlight from this story, and for us as Scrum Masters is very important, is that even though it might not be a good idea to have the product owner in the retrospective, it is not our call to do a retrospective without the product owner, right? It needs to be the team to say, sorry, we don't want the product owner in the retrospective. And then you go like, I'm fine with that if you get your manager to accept it, because it is that now it's an HR topic. It's no longer I'm the Scrum Master and this is a team. It's like a team doesn't want to have a certain team member, in this case the product owner, in a meeting. There's something that goes beyond the Scrum Master's responsibilities.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that was a tough story, but definitely very useful, because many of us out there are dealing with similar situations.
Yeah.
So let's turn our attention to a more positive. I mean, it is Friday, so let's have a good story to end the day, and share with us, Oskar, what might have been the best product owner pattern that you've seen in your career.
I think it is the pattern of the lust for experiments. I have this amazing product owner right now. She's absolutely awesome. She comes from a very, very agile digital product development background. So when she got into the team, it was like a match made in heaven, because she has exactly the right mindset for being a modern agile product owner. So she basically comes in and from day one has trust within the team. She says, okay, here's the vision that we're going to form together. I have the initial draft, but we're going to form this together, and here is the backlog with the top priority. Let's discuss it. Let's talk about what's most important for you and how can we combine tech and business and also process into all this. So it's I would say the textbook example of a great PO is to just trust in the team and let them be a part of everything. Of course, she's responsible in the end for the prioritization, and she has the expertise on the product itself. But just to include the team in everything. So she opens up for a very transparent collaboration. And that is also a to a huge benefit for the people who are working within the team, and for me, because it makes my job easier as well to focus on creating a really good and strong team, and not so much on maybe coaching the product owner and so on.
So the thing that jumps out at me from this story is the focus on co-creation, having a vision, understanding what needs to be done, but still being hands-off enough to bring the team in and get their feedback and their contribution and co-create the product. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, exactly. So it all comes down to that if we are going to deliver as a team together, we need to create as a team together also. That is, to me, it's the fundamental of a team, that we all have our responsibilities and different roles, of course, but it's our combined effort that in the end will create a really good product. And for that to happen, it's my opinion that the whole team needs to be a part of creating everything from the start. They are not just going to form the process and what ceremonies and focus on only technology. They need to be also collaborating with the product owner and learning, and to get to know the product and the users they are solving problems for. So this product owner really opens up to this environment. And of course, then we have, not everyone needs, it's not mandatory. We still have people who want to focus more on developing, of course, but everyone is free to join within creating and doing user research and things like that. So the other day we even had a talk, and one of the team members said that can we go out and meet our customers? And when a developer or a team member says that, and it's not the product owner who says, okay, now we have to go out and learn more about the customer, let's meet them. It's actually a developer on the team who says it. That to me indicates a very good product owner and a really motivating product owner to have the team members interested into getting to know the users better.
Also a product owner that focuses on what matters, right? Because it gets the team to want to talk to the product owner,
exactly.
To the customers. That was perfect, Oskar. Thank you very much for sharing that story. Unfortunately, we're getting close to the end, but before we do go, share with us, where can we find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
Yeah, so I write occasionally on Medium. It goes up and down how much time I have left. I have time for it. But also on LinkedIn. I've tried Twitter, but there's a lot of good people on Twitter getting their opinions out, so I don't know. But I do have a Twitter. But I think you can reach me best on LinkedIn or Medium.
Absolutely. We'll put the links on the show notes, so that everybody can get in touch and interact with Oskar. Oskar, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Yeah, thank you for a great podcast.
One more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast is over, but there's a lot more we have to share. We have developed our own membership site where you find a community of active and engaged Scrum Masters. In this site, you get access to exclusive content and get to interact with us, your podcast hosts, as well as the best Scrum Masters in the world. Join us at scrummastertoolbox.com/podcast and keep this podcast free of advertising. See you next week for one more week full of Scrum Master tips and tricks. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.